Greetings, viewers. What I have for you today is another one of those special videos that I'm really excited about. My current collection of computers started in 2010 and was spearheaded by two Macintosh PowerBooks and an iMac G3 350. I still have those machines. Two of the three work. I'm going to hopefully soon be getting the third one up back and running as well. But for those that don't know, I actually had a computer collection long before that. In fact, I'd been collecting computers probably since I was about 5. Yes, really. I've been at this for that long. Now, I didn't really, do a lot of the stuff myself until I was about 7 or 8, but I had many machines in my possession by the time I was about 5 or 6. Back in 2003, I picked up a triplet of Dell Latitude XPI systems. Two of them were P133 STs, and one of them was a P100 ST. None of them worked. They all had various problems that made them unusable. And so what I did is I made one good working machine out of the parts for myself, and another working machine sans a floppy drive for my two brothers to use. Well, they didn't really use it that much. So the next year, I ended up with 3 more machines. These ones all worked. A Toshiba Satellite 430 CDT, which I do have a replacement for now. I've got a 420 CDT up there. A Toshiba Tecra 740 CDT, and one of these. This is a Toshiba Tecra 730 CDT. This is a 730, and I fixed up the 730 and the 740 for the brothers to use. Now, they still really didn't use it that much, but I had one, and kind of would like to start getting some of those machines again. The machines that I really spent a lot of my time with when I was younger. I mean, I had some Macintosh stuff, I had some Mac clones, I had some other things, but they really didn't interest me at the time. And there were a lot of machines that I had that I really didn't give the time of day to because I just really wasn't all that interested in them. But this was cool to me. These machines, which, by the way, this is about 2.5 inches thick. Just shy of it, anyway. I can find my ruler here. I had it out. Here it is. You can see there that it is just shy. I don't know what that would be. Perhaps 3/16. Yeah, probably 2 3/16 of an inch tall. Pretty tall. This machine is not the same one that I had. The one that I had came from IBM. At the time, it was cast off. It was a business machine. They were going to recycle it. And back then, you could take things from their recycling bins. Can't really do that anymore. But either way, this one, on the other hand, if we take a look, came from Dektronics Inc. in Oakville. I think there's probably some information there. I can't really read it. 730 CDT 2.1 system unit. There's a model number, DC input, and all that other happy stuff. Alright, so it's not in perfect condition, but it is actually in pretty darn good condition for one of these. The problem with these gray Toshiba machines, the Satellites, the Tecras, the Portages, all of those, is the plastic. I don't know if I'd call it low quality, but it became very brittle very early. Certainly a lot earlier than it really should have. So you can find a lot of Dells, a lot of HPs, compacts, even some off-brands with, cases that are still pretty pliable. And yet these really aren't. And there are a few cracks on this one. There's one there. There's a couple of pieces here that are missing. And I think I saw another one on the bottom by one of these screws. There's a crack right there. There's a crack here. I'm not even showing that. There's a crack there. There's a crack here. Let's see. Are there any more? Some of these might have been inflicted in shipping. Believe it or not, I actually had it shipped within the city. If I'd known it was in the city, I wouldn't have actually done that. I would have gone and picked it up. But usually, if these things are going to crack, they're going to crack right here, around these hinges. This is usually the first thing that goes. And this one is in pretty good shape. If we go ahead and we have a look here, we'll go ahead and see that there's a CD-ROM drive in this one. You could put a floppy drive here. You could also have a little external thing with a floppy drive. I had one and then it disappeared on me. I'm really quite annoyed by that. Here are your indicators. It claims that the battery is charged, which is a very interesting claim. We'll have to see if that's actually true. There's the battery right there, actually. If we go ahead and flip it over to here, here's one of the latches. The difference between the 730 and the 740 is that the latch for the 740 was on the front. It also had a bigger screen. But either way, otherwise it was the same machine. There's a Kensington lock right there. There's your power switch. There's a reset button. You won't see that on a modern laptop. Well, you might. Some of them might have it, but most of them don't. At least not the ones that you can buy in Best Buy or anything like that. Try and be gentle with this. This is the other fragile point of these machines, is the DC input. On both of mine, the 730 and the 740, this had actually broken free. And you had to bend this in the right way in order to get it to connect, and it just got worse and worse to the point where you couldn't even use it anymore. I think actually what ultimately sidelined the 730 that I used to have was a hard drive failure. But that was certainly a problem long before that. Underneath this door here is the parallel port, and that's another reason why these things tended to not last very long. It's very brittle. Anyway, here's the docking connection right there. There's a cooling fan for the CPU. There's our audio. I have a PS2 combination keyboard and mouse port there. Underneath this door is the serial and VGA. There's an infrared port here as well. Since this is a Pentium-based system, it's new enough for all of that. And if we come over here, you can see aforementioned floppy connector, which is protected. And dual PCMCIA card slots. Now, it's very interesting to note these. If you go ahead and have a look here, you can see ZV and CB. Now, CB is pretty obvious. That's card bus, since this is a card bus compatible system. What does the ZV mean? That kind of threw me through a loop for a little bit, but ZV stands for zoomed video, and what that was is it was used with special cards that would overlay directly onto the video output from the video chipset. And the interesting thing about this is that it seems to be that the card up here at the top is for the zoomed video. And that's really odd, because usually with zoomed video, it was either the bottom slot or both slots. But it's definitely got a PC card in it. We go ahead and have a look here. This is what it came with. Just a little data fax modem. It's a little X-Jack thing, which was actually kind of a revolution back when that came out. You didn't have to have, you know, massive card that took up both ports if you wanted to plug in something like a modem or a Ethernet card or anything like that. Like those Zircon cards, those orange ones. I have one of those sitting around somewhere, so we'll put that back. Don't really need it, but we'll put it back anyway. And you can see that this is definitely not in good health anymore. That doesn't close. It actually has an onboard modem. I just noticed that right now. Funny enough. We'll go ahead and we will take this thing, and again, we'll be very careful with this AC jack on the back, because I don't want to break it, because they are fragile. And we'll open it up. And like I said, the 740 CDT had a bigger display. You can see there's a little bit of extra space on that side. There's a microphone right there. There's the two speakers. Intel Pentium processor. This actually is an oddball one. It bases on an Intel Pentium 150, which is a very odd speed, at least to me. I don't ever remember that being. I thought it was a 133. To be honest, there's a volume control here. Here's the keyboard, and again, look at how little wear there is on this keyboard. Now, there is some. I don't know if you'd be able to see it better. No, not really. Maybe if I turn on the video light. Again, not really, but it's not perfect. There is some wear on some of these keys, but it's in really, really good shape for its age. It's in better shape than the one that I had, certainly, because being a used business machine, it was worn to the ground, pretty much. Okay, so in addition to the Pentium 150, which, by the way, actually has a 60 megahertz front side bus, again, pretty oddball, usually it was 66, but either way, it came standard with 16 megabytes of memory. I know this one's got about 50 megabytes installed. which again is a pretty oddball value. I'm not really sure where that would come from, but 16 is a very interesting amount of memory. It's certainly got some, given it's 50 megabytes, it's certainly got some on the board, as well as some additional cards. I believe these took proprietary memory cards, as opposed to actual SD RAM. I don't remember, and I'm not going to take this one apart just to figure that out, because it is about almost 4:30 in the morning. And if you're wondering what the 2.1 on the underside meant, this came stock with a 2.1, or actually it was more like a 2 gigabyte hard drive. 2.1 billion bytes, I believe is what they called it. Something like that. It's got a chips 65550 series video processor with 2 megabytes of video memory. We'll just go ahead and we'll turn it on here. So it's now on. Hard drive is coming on. Yeah, Toshiba Video BIOS. You can see the RAM here. Again, pretty oddball amount of RAM. Might be more like 48 megabytes. But here we go into Windows 98. The BIOS isn't really worth seeing. It's just the typical Toshiba gray text on white. And the one thing that you might have noticed right off the bat is the pressure mark right there, which is unfortunate, but it is the way it is. I'm not going to complain about that, considering what I paid for this, which was a little more than I would have liked, but certainly well below market value for one of these, because these are only accelerating in value. It's quite scary how much a Pentium system is worth these days. It's running Windows 98 with some interesting customizations. There is a user password set, but it'll never actually load here. But of course it really doesn't matter, because Windows 98 has got high-tech security. That is definitely the one thing I really liked about this system as opposed to my 430, is it had stereo speakers which sounded, they didn't get quite as loud, but they were certainly a lot more full. You got more sound out of them. More of a complete sound. You hear it probably loading a whole bunch of things in the system tray right now. I haven't done anything to this machine. Large icons are enabled. And we'll see what it thinks of itself here. It is actually 2nd edition. Yep, 48 megabytes of memory. So, probably 16 on board and 32 expansion. Microsoft import adapter. Interesting. That's the head hard drive's auto park. Let's see if it tells us what kind of hard drive we have. This mouse is not exactly the easiest to use. No, it just says generic IDE disk type 1, which isn't actually true. So I'll have to go into my computer and figure that out. I'm not going to be keeping this installed. I will be wiping it clean and installing Windows 98, probably 1st edition with the Plus Pack, which is how mine was set up back in the day. Look at this, you can't even read any of that text. But let's see what kind of hard drive this actually is. Is this still 2 gigabytes? Yep, about 2 gigs. 908 megabytes are free. So I don't really know how else I can demonstrate this machine right now. There's not really a lot on here. I don't even know if this would work. No. It isn't going to work. That's a shame. Here the auto park. Sort of like the IBM drives and the PowerBooks. Auto park. I love this, when there's a My Documents folder here and they feel the need to make a folder called Docs. Docs 2. Okay. I don't know what any of this junk is. But there you go. I don't think these programs will start. I know Tosha Lib didn't. Tosha Lib, or whatever. Yeah, that didn't work correctly. It doesn't have a DLL file. When I got my 430, it was actually running Windows 95 originally. So we'll we'll just get out of this. Not show too much incriminating information. What's the last modified date on that? 1999. Yeah, it looks like the system was really last used in 1999. I think it was powered up once in 2002 and used for a bit. And there's a file here, 2006 scan disk. But other than that, it really just, it wasn't used. So it's been a long time. This stuff has been sitting here for a while. There is a document in here. I'm going to open it. I'm going to move away. I don't know what's in it. Oh, wow, this is strange looking Office. I don't know what version of Office this is. Okay, it doesn't look like it's really anything too incriminating, just somebody's analysis of climate change back in 1999. Now, let's see if I can do this. What version of Office is this? Is this 2000? Or is this XP? 2002. So I think that, yeah, I think that's XP. So let's see what close. It's a little sluggish. Well, that was last modified in 2006, so maybe it was used a little bit newer than I thought it was. Well, whatever the case may be, get rid of this. I think there are still a couple of other files as well, but they might not actually be on this machine. They might be on a floppy, or might have been on a floppy. And there are a few other things here as well. I don't know if it'll actually open. Doesn't look like it. It seems to have ignored me. You know, Windows is ramming one end of itself straight into the other. Yeah. Windows 98, folks. For its time, it was great, but in the face of Windows NT products, I'm glad that it's gone. Yeah. So it's gone. Oh well, I don't think there's really much else I can think of to share with you, and this video has probably gone on for long enough. So, here's another machine from my childhood collection, my pre-2007 collection, that I'm really happy I have. Oh, here's one thing that we can do. Let's go ahead and unplug this and see if it stays running. It does. That's cool. We'll see how long it stays running. It's figured out now that it can't find the file. Well, it's actually working a little bit better than I anticipated. In fact, it's working a lot better than I really anticipated. I don't think this has the plus pack on it. Well, it does has the additional icons, or the additional cursors. Okay, let's change this to something a little bit less doofy. Yeah, that's better. Let's go ahead and find out. I am running it on battery right now. Ooh, somebody has decent taste in screensavers. If I remember right, this thing really couldn't handle this. Yeah, even at 640 by 480, really not handling it that well. The 2 megabyte chips video accelerator. Not that great. In fact, it really can't even handle it there. Yeah, no, this definitely is not. In fact, this doesn't even have any additional things on it. Let's see if this will work. Or if it'll just get upset with me. No collections are selected to display. Let's see. No, it's not. Oh, for crying out loud. Let's try that. Oh, this is just like a picture slideshow kind of thing. No collections are selected. I thought I just selected one. Oh, I might have canceled it by accident. Select OK. See what happens. Yeah, it's unchecking it. So, alright. I don't think that's really going to work. Again, this is my personal favorite. So, the battery actually seems to be surprisingly holding out. And the other thing that's worth noting about this is that both latches are actually intact. Which again is an oddity. Usually at least one of them is broken. So I think we got a winner here. And I'm going to conclude the video with that. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. I hope to see you next time. Till then. Oops.